Rob Tebbutt for ID Boxing. Delighted to be joined by, well, I was going to say Olympic silver medalist, but now 1-0 professional, Ben Whittaker, the surgeon. Talk to me about that nickname.
You know, I've had it for a while. When Andy used to know me, it was the future. But then I said to my dad, what about the future now? Do you know what I mean? That don't make no sense. Then people's going with my rap name, Benzo, but the surgeon, it just fits. I put in a clinic when I fight, and it sounded nice, so I ran with it.
I quite like it. I can't think of too many other fighters nicknamed the surgeon, so I quite like that. Often we get kind of nicknames replayed over and over again,
I don't
so I quite like
that. Yeah, you get the hitman and stuff like that, but I thought, you know, something different. I always loved Adrian Brown as the problem, so I wanted the something, you know what I mean? We found the surgeon.
Surgeon, I like it. Let's talk about your professional debut. Been 3 weeks or so now. How does it feel? I'm assuming you've gone back and watched it all kind of one round and 20 seconds or so. What did you make of your pro debut?
It was good, you know. It just happened so quick, if I'm honest. I was trying to show that I'm still myself. Everybody knows me as a slick boxer, which I was. So I did that in the first round, had a bit of fun. And then the second round, I said what I was going to do, knock him out. So it was the cherry on top, but I'm my own critic. There's things I need to work on, and hopefully I'll do that this Saturday.
Without obviously divulging too many of your secrets, what things do you feel you still need to work on?
Just like I'm still trying to work Sugar's style, do you know what I mean? So the old me would have been crazy showboating, looking at the ring, doing silly stuff, where I was trying to be a bit like Sugar, and sometimes I got caught in both styles, do you know what I mean? But that was our first fight and first camp together, so the more we gel together, I can start doing the both.
Hang on, so there's going to be people watching this who want to know. So you usually showboat more?
Oh, a lot more. Like I said, when I was the amateur, I used to go crazy. I used to get points taken off. It was ridiculous, but I'm just enjoying it. And some people are too serious in this game, and when I enjoy it, I fight better.
You're obviously now no longer an amateur. You're getting there. You've got the small gloves on. I know head guards are kind of a thing of the past in the amateurs anyway, particularly at the level that you boxed at. But how did you feel? How did you feel hitting somebody in 10-ounce gloves?
Yeah, bloody hell. I put the gloves on. Because you always see, I used to speak to Boatsy, I'm good friends with Boatsy, and he told us about putting these little everlasts on, and he was like, the other kids got to wear these as well. And I thought, oh, it can't be that much of a difference. But I put them on, and I was like, whoa. And I've always got this little ritual, like just tapping the wall. Tap the wall, and he broke my hand. I thought, bloody hell. But not only that, I thought, if I do hit this kid right, I'll hurt him. And like, that can happen with anyone, but I just thought, if I hit someone right with these little gloves, I can hurt them. And that's what I liked.
You mentioned Sugar Hill. I know that you trialled a few trainers. I won't name names. I'll leave that up to you if you want to. What was it about Sugar Hill that you decided was the right fit for you?
Just there's a lot of things, but firstly, experience. He's been in situations with Fury where he would never get overruled. He's been with thousands and thousands of audience there. Not only that, he's been in the gym with the Tommy Earns and people like that. So if he's been around that type of talent, he's gonna have some crazy knowledge. And not only that, apart from the boxing, he was like a father figure, you know. Me and my dad, we've been doing this boxing thing forever, but he can't be with me everywhere. Where Sugar would like take me under his wing, he would wash my clothes. It's just little things like that, but a coach, you need a coach to be there 24/7, and he was. We always talk over the phone, we got on, and I just liked it.
You mentioned that, so it's interesting. Andy Lee, somebody I know very well, he used to train, of course, with Emmanuel Steward. Of course, we all know about the link between himself and Sugar Hill Steward. I think once I asked Andy, so what things do you remember? And he said that Manny Steward was the biggest influence on his life outside of his parents. And he said everything from the way he folds his clothes and the way he does his washing, he attributes to him. What little bits and pieces have you picked up from Sugar Hill in the short time you've been working together?
I'll never change my flashy, cocky, arrogant ways, but he's just making me become more, a bit more humble, you know what I mean? He's making me just appreciate everything I've got because I'm in a great position. And being around someone like that who's been with the Furies, who's one of the best heavyweights, he just said, listen, you don't need to keep bragging and boasting about how good you are. Your talent will show. And being with someone like that who's been there, I've just got to listen. But I'm a person who don't like to let people down, and like I keep saying, he's been with those type of people. If I go in there like an idiot, it's going to make him look like an idiot. So that's my main thing. I want to perform so I don't make him look stupid.
And it wouldn't be right for me to not mention this man sat behind me here, Andi Purewal, somebody that I've known for a long time. A little kind of finder's fee, I think, is due in order for him for putting you in touch with Sugar Hill.
I need to give him a little percentage because he's the one who hooked us up. We've been good friends for a good while, and we linked up for a mixed grill. You know, he likes his mixed grills. And we were just talking about like where I want to go. I'm turning pro. Who would I like to go with? and I just dropped Sugar. I said I like the way he talks and the way he acts. Next thing you know, he put the 2 and 2 together. Then we're getting a phone call from Sugar. I was like, what's going on here? So we got to thank him, because we probably wouldn't have got in touch if not.
Well, we'll be invoicing 258 Will Harvey over there for the percentage for ID Boxing. Speaking of the man himself, Sugar Will over there was in the corner for your professional debut. Yeah. He didn't message. He looked over at me afterwards and said, "What did you think?" And I put out a tweet and said, "What did you make of Ben Whittaker's performance?" And I think it ranged from absolutely brilliant, I absolutely loved it, to I absolutely hate him, I want to see him get knocked out, and everything in between. Was that the plan?
You know, it's not the plan, but it's just the way things are going. I've got a real annoying face, so people are just going to have to get used to it. But at the end of the day, it was a good thing because it got people talking, like you said. People really loved it, people really hated it, but they watched it and spoke about it, so it's better being spoke about than not.
You mentioned your father. I've spoken to him a little bit. I actually spoke to him yesterday. Asked him he's going to be coming out. It's tomorrow or Thursday that he's going to be coming out. Must be great to have your dad over here and have that comfort of him ahead of your second professional fight.
100%. First things first, I hope he can fit in the chair, bless him, because he's been trying to get a business class. I don't think he'll fit in them economy seats, so I need to sort him out there. But yeah, you know, my dad, he's boxed back in his past, but it didn't go the way he wanted it to go, so I think he's kind of living it through me now. So being on this road with my dad and having someone support like that, it's great, because you don't see many people have their parents backing, so I'm in a privileged place to have not just the dad, just the mom as well behind me.
Talk to me about your opponent this weekend. Second professional fight, 6-0, 3 stoppages. You boxed him as an amateur. What can we expect from your opponent this weekend?
Yeah, 6-0, man. Undefeated. 50% knockout ratio. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Not sure, man. I'm going to go in there and beat him up, man. You know, he's just another kid. I've fought him before. Yeah, you have to be realistically. He's going to try and come in for a bit of revenge, maybe. But at the end of the day, that was 7 years ago or whenever it was, and I'm a complete different fighter now. And I've made him a good week, haven't I? I brought him out to Saudi. He gets to watch the big fight, so it's nice for him. But we'll send him on with a black eye and some hurt ribs.
I want to talk to you about a couple of amateur fights in particular, because I think they're linked together. I think they tell a lot about you and your development as a boxer. Your first one I want to talk to you about is when you boxed Oleksandr Khyzhniak. Yeah. The first time you boxed him. Now, I remember watching that fight and thinking, we're going to find out what this guy's made of. Yeah. You're a young kid. Anybody who's watched Oleksandr Khyzhniak will know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched him, go and watch him. Bulldozing on the front foot, big heavy hands. Yeah. How important was that for you at that stage of your amateur career to go through that experience against him? Yeah,
I loved it. It wasn't just the fight, it was the whole thing. So I knew of him from way back, because I was kind of new on the scene. You know, it's my first senior European tournament. So I was thinking, oh, you know, if I can draw a couple, sounds bad, but if I can draw a couple of idiots and get a medal, I'll be happy. Drawed somebody, then I drawed him. I was like, oh my days. And we always do these things when we're on GB. We sit down with the coaches. It's called video analysis. We sit down and watch them. So they put the video on. I was like, you don't look that bad. Boom, knock the kid out. I was like, they said, oh, maybe we put a different video. I said, yeah, put a different video. Same, knocked him out again. I said, I think I've seen enough, man. Went back to my room. I was like, oh my days. So I was nervous. He was in Ukraine as well. They said, Ben Whittaker's. That's it. Said his name, going crazy. I thought, what's going on here? But that fight, truthfully, that was the defining fight for me. It just changed me. Did a little switch where I thought, okay, I know I lost, but I showed a bit of balls, showed a bit of heart. And I thought, my first proper senior thing like this, and I'm doing this against these type of kids. If I stick at it, where can I go? But it was a great fight, and I loved it. It was good.
Now, the fight that I want to talk to you about on the back of that is where you were in the Tokyo Olympics. Yeah. Imam Khataev. Similar sort of fighter, not as busy as Khyzhniak, but a murderous puncher. 2 of the highlight reel knockouts of the games. Yeah. You boxed very differently to him against him than you did against Khyzhniak. Now, how much of that was the experience that you'd gone through? Obviously, that fight, but throughout your amateur career. And what does that say about you? What did you learn from your amateur career going into that fight with Khataev?
Yeah, I thought, oh my God, this is another one. Because I remember, I think I fought the Egypt kid before him. So he was the fight before me. And you have to come out 10 minutes before so you can see the fight. So I was looking on the big screen. I thought, oh, what would I do against this kid? Boom, knocked him clean out. It was like a highlight reel knockout. And I thought, oh my days, I got this kid next. But luckily enough, I beat his brother a couple of years ago, and his brother was the exact same. And us two sparred in a camp in Kazakhstan. Now, when I say he can bang, he could bang, but he just had no feet at all. And that's what boxing about, is using your style, using your skills. And I thought, realistically, he's banging these kids out, but if he can't hit me, what can he do? And after that first round, I thought, yeah, I've got this. But it was just a mature performance, really, because if I stood there, switched off, I could have easily got caught. And I was doing it all with one arm, so cherry on top.
How is the arm now? I actually spoke to your dad before you went out to the Olympics and throughout it as well. I know that it was a difficult time for you injury-wise. All healed up now, all back to full health?
Yeah, it was a difficult time. I had the injury for about 3.5 years, but being the number one on GB is sometimes that's hard as anything, because if you dip off, someone will take your spot. You've always got to fight for your spot. And I thought, I'm not in a position right now to have this break and get this sorted, because if I switch off, someone will take my spot, then it's a chasing game. So I just try to keep it as quiet as possible, get it done, and I got the surgery, but I'm happy now. I've got 2 hands, and I think Bournemouth showed I'm more than fine now.
I want to talk to you about your weight. I know you'd spoken about it slightly beforehand. I thought that you would do super middleweight as a pro.
Yeah, so did Will.
Yeah, so did Will.
He was upset.
I spoke to Sugar before you made your debut, and he, he was in his own way, and you'll know better than me. He was very much, no, we're going to do this. We're going to grow into it. I don't want him starving, man. If he wants to eat, he's going to eat.
Yeah, that's what you say when I was in Birmingham, because I was, like you said, sorry to cut you off. I was in the same. I was going, I'm going to go super middleweight. So I was making the super middleweight. And he goes, what are you doing, man? I said, well, I had my missus cooking all my meals, prepping it all for me. And he goes, what are you eating like a little baby for? I said, what do you mean that I'm eating clean, just smaller portions? He goes, no, man. We're going to McDonald's and that stuff like that. I was like, what's going on here, man? You've been around Tyson too long. But like, and that was it really. So I'm in between really. Like my last fight, I think I was a pound under championship weight. So it shows how light I am really. But we'll see. Will was talking about me today. So oh yeah, I think you can make it. So we'll see.
So it's still not up in the air, but it's still something that you may consider if the right
yeah,
opportunity's there.
100%. I'm one of them. Like I said, I want some titles at super middle. I want some titles at light heavy, and I just think that would be great to put on your resume. And I want to do that. I want to go through the free weights, cruiser or whatever. So it's something I want to do, but I love my food. I'm a fat kid, man. So we'll see.
The style that you have is not what we would consider, I mean, over here we're in Saudi, but back home as kind of a conventional British or even European fighter. Yeah. With that being said, one, where does the style come from? And two, what fighters influenced you to box the way you box?
So when I first ever got into boxing, I watched Mario Kindeling. I was a big fan of Cuban boxing, amateur boxing. I thought they're just dominating the game, the way they box, the way they move. Then I started getting into the Ringendos. He was like I loved him, man. His style was just beautiful. And then I got into the Pernell Whitakers, the James Tonys, and I just tried to blend it all in, and that's what made Ben Whittaker. And recently, and I'm always watching Tommy Hearns, and being with someone like a Sugar, been watching all those Krong fighters. But all I try and do is just, if I see something I like, it might be even like a schoolboy, like when I've gone to the local championships, and I say, oh, I like that move. I'll take that move and make it my own, and that's what happens. I always try and take little things, and even though I've got my own style, it's good to watch fighters and try and take little bits.
Is that what it's about now? Kind of fusing that kind of Cuban side, Julio La Cruz as well. Somebody I know beautiful. That you know very well from the amateurs.
Great.
And kind of implementing that with a new kind of more Kronk style, sitting down in shots. Is that kind of the next stage of your development?
100%, because I'd never took my style away. Like I said, I walked through the doors at GB and I was doing all my weird stuff, and they've never seen it before. So I always, when you go for your assessment, they've got this big checklist and they tick it off, and I was doing things, putting my hands down, looking out the ring, and the coach was like, I'm putting it down. I was like, but now, a couple of years down the line, I'd come back to the corner and say, just keep doing what you do, mate, it's beautiful. So it obviously worked, but now I know I'm in a position where professional boxing, no one wants to see that for 12 rounds. I want to see people get knocked out, but I'm not going to completely just throw away my skill set. So if I can marry the two, probably dance around for 4 rounds and knock him out, then we're laughing.
Is that a big part of the reason to go with Sugar Hill? I mean, he seems like somebody, I mean, I don't know Professor massively well, but he seems like somebody who wants to, bring everything out of you, doesn't want to, coach you out of you, if that makes sense, and turn you into the type of puncher that he wants you to be, but also keep the characteristics that have made you successful.
100%, and that's why I think I went with him, because everybody else, there's some people I went to and it was just like, yeah, you're pretty much the finished article, and I know I'm not. There's so much to learn. Then I was going to some other people, and it was completely changing me. I was like, I don't know, man. Where Sugar he's he's a proper teacher. He keeps going over things, but then my fight, it showed. The first round, I was having fun, I was being myself, and he come back and he liked it. He said, yeah, you've had your fun now. Like, go and show him what we worked on. So, like I said, it's still early doors with us, but after 12 months, 18 months down the line, if we can keep that combination going, it'll be good.
Midlands boxing is thriving, no more so than at Tokyo. Of course, Galauya fight picking up gold. You'll make big Fraser Clark getting bronze after a real long journey as an amateur. What does it mean to you to kind of? I mean, we've seen Boxer have shows in Bournemouth recently. They did a card in Coventry. Taking big time boxing to the Midlands must be really high on your list of priorities.
100%. We have so much talent down there. There's a lot of kids coming through the youth and senior circuit as amateurs. And there's some great pros, but I don't think we ever get the recognition we should have. I think mainly because the accent. And not only that, the accent's not the best, but I'm trying to push it as best as we can. But like, we don't get the backing, and sadly, Birmingham's a place, and you'll probably know, it's weird. It's like Liverpool, they get behind their own. London probably get behind their own. Manchester get behind their own. But when it comes to Birmingham, it's just like, no one really gets behind someone. So hopefully, I can cause that buzz. Catch that buzz, and even if the haters come out, they come out, you know what I mean? But like I said, you've got people like Fraser and even, who's that other kid? The Coventry lad, what's his name?
There's River Wilson Ben.
There's River, he comes out with them banger dances.
Oh, Dylan Chima.
Yeah, people like him, he's a good ticket seller, you know what I mean? So if you can keep bringing those type of guys, it's only going to make Midlands bigger. And you've got people like Zach Parker, people like that down in the Midlands. It's big. We just don't get the recognition we should get. But hopefully, I can be the one to start bringing some big nights back.
I hope you don't mind me saying that you were very much in demand after the Olympics. I think it's fair to say. What was it about Boxer and Ben Shalom that kind of made you sign on the dotted line?
It was a great opportunity to be in. Me being honest, when I first walked into the gym, I was probably the crappiest in the gym, the laziest. And people if they told me that would be me, I'd probably be like, nah, you're chatting rubbish. And before the Olympics, if you told me, I would have been like, really, do you know what I mean? But when it happened, it kind of felt like it was supposed to happen, so it was a weird one. But like having all those type of people coming after me was a privilege. I was humbled. But Boxer, I just like the way they came to me. I really got on with Ben, got on with their team, the young, they're starting from fresh. And it just kind of made sense of would this situation, or could this ever happen again? Do you know what I mean? So I just thought, why not just try it out? And I ended up in Saudi, so it's worked out.
You ended up in Saudi indeed, so let's talk about the main event this weekend. Anthony Joshua seeks to reclaim his unified heavyweight titles against Oleksandr Usyk. I'm assuming, Usyk was probably around slightly before you as an amateur, at certainly the top international level. But a really hard fight for Anthony Joshua this weekend. How do you see it playing out, particularly bearing in mind what we saw in September last year in London?
Truthfully, I think this fight's all about mindsets. Me being a fighter, and if I was in both of their shoes, I know what they'd be going through. If I was a Usyk, you think, okay, I've beat him. I know AJ's going to come out, this, that. And if you was AJ, you think, I went through that the first time, I've got to switch something up. But truthfully, it's mindset. How do you go into this fight? And if I was at AJ, you make it dirty, man. You use your weight, you use your power, you use all that. But it's easy said than done. I can be saying, do all this, do all that. But I've been in that situation where people have told me, I've got in there and it's completely different. So, but all I can do is just support him and root for him, because at the end of the day, he's bringing big nights to Britain, and we want to keep that train going.
How important is the start of the fight on Saturday night? Oleksandr Usyk won the first fight, in my opinion, fairly clearly. How important is it that Anthony Joshua puts his mark on the fight in the opening stages?
That's what you have to do. Like, I've learned this from Sugar, but like, when you touch gloves, as soon as you touch gloves, be raring to go for the centre, show that you're ready for this fight. And when the ref says break, push him, elbow him, be dirty. At the end of the day, it's a fight. If you need to be dirty, win at all means, and that's what he needs to do. But like, the sad thing I see with AJ, a lot of people write him off, but the stuff he's done for the sport in the short space, he's done a lot. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be too sure I wouldn't be too shocked if he overturns this thing. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's gone from Usyk to Usyk again. He's gone from Ruiz to Ruiz. He goes back to back, man, where some other heavyweights, they don't do that. So you have to give him his props where it's due.
So he doesn't get the credit he deserves? Or
yeah,
maybe
man, I don't think so.
Why do you think that is?
You know, probably because his popularity and things like that. But if you look at his resume, he's fought some good fights, man, some good fighters, back-to-back as well. And I said, in the position he is now, he lost to Usyk. He could have easily took an easier fight, got his confidence back, got some more change in the pocket and fought Usyk again. But he's gone straight from a loss to fight again. And to me, that shows a lot about his character, because going straight in from a loss, the way he lost as well, it shows a lot, because many people be like, I don't want that again. You know what I mean?
If you were going to put your last pound, who would you put it on and why?
Oh, that's good. Because he's my boy and he's opened the door for me, it's got to be AJ, man. And not only that, he's got to punch his chance, man. There's 12 rounds, 3 minutes. All it takes is one, and he's got that one. You know what I mean? But I can never write off Usyk as well. His skills are beautiful. I remember when I watched him in the WSB versus Joyce. I was just like, I love Joyce. But I was just like, who's this robot, man? Fighting this silky kid that it don't make sense. You know what I mean? So his skills are ridiculous and he's great. So it's going to be a tough turn. I'm not going to lie, but I'm rooting for him. I'd slap that pound down for him.
Back to yourself before we wrap things up. Do appreciate your time,
No
particularly
worries,
it's very late here in sunny Saudi
It's all
Arabia.
good.
Not so sunny, still
I
bloody
know,
hot
yeah.
out there. But back to yourself, Oleksandr Usyk is I think it's fair to say, pound for pound superstar,
Yeah.
somebody at the very, very top end of the sport. Is that the goal for Ben Whittaker?
100%, and truthfully, that's one of the reasons why I took this fight. Not just for me, just for the whole atmosphere, just to see what a big fight entails, what it's all about. So when I'm in that situation, I'm going, I've seen it before, and that's how I'm seeing it. This is all experience when I get to that stage.
Okay, well, Ben Whittaker, former Olympic silver medalist, now 1-0 as a pro. I will leave the floor to you. I want you to look into that camera right there, and I want you to tell people what to expect when they see you box on the Usyk-Joshua 2 undercard on Saturday in Saudi Arabia.
Hey,
I want you to sell it.
You know what? I don't know. I can't sell it too much, you know what I mean? But, I'm just like a cup of tea. I've already said this already. 6 sugars. I'm too sweet, but I'm nice with it. When you see me box, man, it's a clinic. And just expect this boy to be on the floor again. That's what I'm expecting. I say, put your money on round 2. First round's going to be somewhat juicy. Round 2 is all she wrote. Lights out. Benzo signing out.
There we go. Ben Whittaker, thanks very much for speaking to ID Boxing and having us here in your much nicer hotel room than I have.
It's nice.
Very good.
Nice.
Shout out 258. Bring in the nice hotel room. Thanks very much for speaking to myself. Look forward to seeing you back in the ring
Thank you
on
very
Saturday
much, man.
in Saudi.